So, why people nowadays are scared to be emotional, you know, are scared to be in their emotions? And I think this is the case with 99% of us, you know. Just because I am more at a, you know, I'm more at a conscious level, I can see through people, and I know people are very off with their emotions. Uh, or rather you will find a tendency that they are keeping their emotions limited to the people they know. They do not cross their boundaries. They do not go outside. Why do you think this is the case? So because somewhere, collectively, as a in the collective conscious, somewhere this has gone very deep into us that you know emotions, if you are an emotional person, if you are in emotions, you will be taken for a ride. You can, emotions is equal to emotional fool. you know how there are not just not two words, they are actually equally taken as one. But and this has been my experience too. I was also very shut off with my emotions, as I was growing up, because of a few things that happened, and I knew that, because of course, I don't know, I can discuss it or not. I don't think so I can. But yeah, I was in a very young age, very close to, I shut down my emotions, my sensitivity very early in my age, because you know yes, of course, there are people outside in the world who take you for granted, who try to manipulate, emotions, even manipulate it with emotions. They have shut their emotions somehow. They've stopped thinking from the heart, and what they're left with is brains. So they've started thinking from brains, and they themselves are like that, and then they do it to others. Then there is also a category who do not do it to anyone else, but yes, for them it's like they don't want to be victims. So this is what is happening, in the world. I don't know, ये बात मेरी कौन कितना समझ पाएंगे, I don't know. I'll try my best to explain. There are things that I can see and I can feel and I can sense. And it's not it's like a person who is more spiritually, has evolved themselves. It's easy for them to see it. So, what I meant to say here is that people somewhere think that it's not safe to be in emotions, because I have seen families where, the parents have, usually the feminine is usually played for her emotions. So the mother has gone through something, and she is, teaching or telling her child, to shut off with emotions, you know or maybe the child interprets it in a way, interpret it in a more extreme way, you know that he or she should shut down the emotions, because of course there are all kinds of people in the world, and being emotion means they will be taken for a ride. But eventually on my spiritual journey is what I've discovered, that emotions are really powerful. Gradually, yeah, it might take a few, you know it might take some time for you to really figure out, how to set up boundaries. But shutting down emotions, or shutting down your sensitivity, is not an you know is not a good option. Eventually you will figure out your boundaries, but if you shut it out completely, there's a possibility that you know you might you might be you might not be able to progress as effectively and as you know as more in a more fast way, you know in your spiritual journey, you won't be able to progress, very, in a little speedy manner. You won't be able to do it, because emotions is a very powerful part of a human being. Just because, you know what happens with human is they try to play safe. They're very safe with the boundaries, and they're very safe with things. So they try to be very careful. And when they try to be very careful, they are not conscious. There's a difference between being careful and being conscious. So you may be careful, okay? You will try to play safe. You will try to be like, if I do this, that would happen. If I do that will happen. You're very result oriented. When you're very careful, when you're very result oriented, there is a chance that you know see, if you're very careful and result oriented, you're trying to know everything and all of the things before making a decision, because you're like, you want to be on the profit side, or you want to be, you will really miss something inside of you. You're truly going to miss something inside of you. I mean, yeah, I have seen people who are very careful in making their decisions. So sometimes, because they have a certain external expectations, and sometimes they just fail badly. Okay. And I mean, it doesn't work. They try to be very careful and it doesn't work. So I think it's something good that has happened to them. But then there are some who, they're very careful, they're very result oriented, they try to figure out, calculate, analyze everything, and then make a decision. And, sometimes it works for them. And I think that is actually a curse, because next time also they will do the same. They will be very careful, they will calculate, they will analyze, and they do it again. So, but whereas emotions are very chaotic, and sometimes, they come from the heart space, definitely. So, and you would try to shut down your emotions completely. I'm not saying that heart space is a little more intelligent than your brain, who is very calculative, and it's very careful. It's You use brain more in your survival modes, okay? When you're rest, when you're more in a surrender space, and surrender comes naturally to you. You don't have to pretend, and you're like, oh, I'm in surrender, I'm in surrender. It's You don't have, you can force surrender, of course, right? So, but it eventually happens in your spiritual journey. You become more aware, you become more conscious, and the surrender consciously or naturally just comes in. So when you are, more in a surrender state, then it naturally, you'll be able to, hear your heart's voice, and it would feel a lot more better, you know and it will be a more intelligent choice, to make. And maybe the output or the external result is not as your heart wanted. So you might go to heartbreak, you might go to disappointment, or whatever. It's fine. But trust me, you are, you know, doing something. You will learn. You will learn a lot. Okay? So, and life is about learning. Life is not about playing safe. Life is about learning. So you will learn a lot of things. Okay? Then then of course there comes a time on a spiritual journey when you even move beyond your heart space. You connect, to God. You connect to the universe. And now this space is kind of crazy, and somewhere we call it intuition. So yeah, we are in an intuition space. So what happens when, so after, you are, started being governed by your emotions, it's fine. You started feeling safe in your emotions, it's fine. You're not very externally driven now. You're more of like, I want to take my decisions, and I'm going to risk it, and I want to see it, and I want to learn, and I'm ready to take risk in everything. So you've come more to your heart space, right? And you're trying to do things, you're being conscious, you consciously decide, and you consciously risk, basically. Okay, it's like risking consciously. Every decision is a risk, right? It's a risk. So you can never know the future, and that's the fun part of it. That's the fun part of decisions. You can never know the future. You can always be in present, and here you all have a chance to connect to, you know our dimensions in us. So some people connect to their brain, they calculate, they analyze. Some people connect to their emotions, their heart space, which is little more intelligent. If you ask a spiritual person, it's a little more intelligent space. And then there's a third dimension to it, which is beyond your brain, which is beyond your calculations, which is beyond your emotions, and that is your intuition space, you can say. But you can come to that only when you've gone through the two stages, right? So, or maybe, I mean, I don't want to fix it. Maybe it's like some people go back and forth also in these stages. It's not always like it's very fixed that, okay, once you've done this, some people would like to go back or something. So all these things are there. Experiment more and everything. But yeah, when you stop using one dimension of you, and you've moved on to another dimension of you know and then you start realizing maybe there is another dimension and you want to try it again. So you try that as well. Okay, and that's how you move, right? So intuition space doesn't have a reason. Its reasons are not your emotions, your love. Its reason is not the calculation of playing safe, of just getting, try to hit the bullseye and just try to get the result. That is how brain works. But no, it's crazy. And sometimes we often refer it to as a feminine side of you. Intuition is always linked with the feminine side. And it is also somewhere, feminine is very unpredictable. Okay, a real feminine is going to be very unpredictable. So because it just changes herself. When you connect to the feminine side of you, when you connect to your intuition, it changes itself maybe every other moment. And it's not a mood thing. It's not like she's moody. It may look like to the other person she's moody or something like that, but she's more in connection with the universe, and she's very much in a surrender state. So she might be doing something crazy just based on some damn intuition that she gets. So how do you know if you're not hallucinating and you're really in your intuition? There is no way you can know. It's only you can know it. And you just have to make your decisions based on your intuition, and then you have to let the time decide it for you. If it comes out to be right or if it comes out to be wrong. So it's just how it works. You can never know. Okay, that's the more fun part of working from your intuition side. So yeah, this video has been more about why people shut down their emotions and sensitivity. Because when I moved to my emotional, when I connected with my emotional space, when I connected with my emotional heart, before I was really afraid of working from my emotional space, working from my heart, because I had this, I had been programmed into thinking that emotion means manipulation. You will be taken for a ride, you will be taken for granted, and emotions aren't good, you know, because they are like, they make you a fool in front of people. But, you know, on my spiritual journey, it happened to me like, why do we care so much about how people look at us? It's fine, you know. And honestly, I have met all kinds of people. There are people who've underestimated me as well. So it's like, why do I have to care? And why do I have to look at myself from the eyes of others? I don't deserve that. I have to look at, I know my capabilities, I know my things, So it's just that you have to, somewhere, you have to really, stop letting yourself be influenced or governed by what other people are going to think of you. And it's fine if you just become a little bit fool, also, it's just okay. You will learn, and next time you will know what people to choose, what people to be with, what people to surround yourself with, you know and it's not like you have to have very strict boundaries or something like that. Oh, this happened like this. No, no, you don't have to be like very strict with your boundaries. Because as spiritual you become, your boundaries are like going far, 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 far away. Okay, you're more intelligent, you're more evolved, more the level of your consciousness. Your boundaries go far, far, far away. But that doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries. All right. And of course there's a purpose for it. It's like you you know how to handle stuff. That is why your boundaries are far away. So of course, um there might be some demons I cannot, you know I cannot fight with. And demons are not like people. Sometimes demons are in the heads of people. Demons are really in the heads of people. People are just lost, but demons exist in the head of people. So yeah. Yeah, so the whole idea about this video was to just share that how, you know it's, we have to move slowly and gradually, and you have to try and risk, with every dimension of your life, and you should try it out. You should risk things, you should make decisions, you know um, of other things, and you should be true to yourself. It just helps you a little more better ways. So yeah, this has been my journey as well somewhere. So I gradually just share it with you all. So do let me know any of your sharings that you have, maybe in the comment section. Would love to hear it from you. Thank you.